It's not just solar power. It's also gonad friction. If you keep it in your pocket, the friction between the two testicles bouncing into each other. You know where else satire was outlawed? The Soviet Union. Hello. America's becoming like the Soviet Union. And
thank you.
And Russia's becoming more like America.
All right.
Russia and America. Let me finish this thought. Russia and America are two ships passing in the night, where the U.S. is going towards Sovietization, and the Russia's coming out and busting out and becoming like America in the 1950s. You know, Putin is basically Ike. He's Eisenhower for the globe. He's the global Eisenhower, and Hillary was basically Stalin. Now we've got Trump. We'll see what happens.
I'll come visit you in jail for sure, in federal prison. No problem.
Hey, Adam Curry, thank you.
Alex, thank you.
I want to thank you for coming by. I apologize to the callers. Leanne, hold on. She probably want to get to you. I apologize to the callers. Here is a Millie Weaver report on the great new EPA head. The EPA has nothing to do with really the environment, folks. They're dumping toxic waste in water. It's about shutting down American industry. This guy knows it's all a big fraud. Very exciting. Here is that report. Then Leanne McAdoo, and I believe she's going to have Margaret Howell, granddaughter of Thurston Howell III.
Oh,
actually, really? That's satire. Thurston Howell III's not real. We know that.
You're the skipper. You're the professor, and I'm Gilligan.
Yeah.
All right. Now, here's a question you got to ask all guys. Are you a Mary Ann or a Ginger type of guy?
I used to be Ginger, and then when I grew up, I definitely went to Mary Ann.
I agree. Well, the wrong answer. You're both.
No, you know, you're the king, so of course you get it all.
No, I'm just joking.
And what am I left with?
I'm a family guy. Watch yourself, Kaiser.
And I'm left with a coconut? Is that what the
Exactly. You're left with Gilligan.
Oh, okay.
I think Hillary definitely went for Mary Ann.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow. And Ginger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. In the new paradigm, we just get to go do all the work and everything and get the coconuts and the bananas and you know, battle the weird headhunters. Like, remember Conan? The headhunters are always attacking.
Yeah.
Why can't we have shows like that are so stupid you can actually relax and watch them?
She definitely liked the coconut zippers.
Hey, did you like the I Dream of Jeannie's Genie?
Oh my God!
You're wondering what the astronaut, you know, what's going on?
Barbara Eden, right?
Yeah, you know what's going on, you know. Sometimes he visits her in the bottle.
Yeah. What about the way the bewitched woman twitched her nose? That, you know, actually, I don't want to go down that path.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, I'm actually don't want to.
All right, so this is what happens. Great job, everybody. We love you. Good things are happening. We love you. Nightly News Tonight, 7 o'clock Central. Leanne's coming up. Here is our great reporter in the Midwest, Millie Weaver. What an amazing lady. This is her best report. That's her best report so far.
Millie Weaver reporting for Infowars.com. I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, where just this last weekend, the Freedom Force International Group held a conference here on the subject matter of climate change and the inconvenient lie that's being perpetuated by the mainstream media and other people, such as Al Gore, that man is responsible for climate change and that we need to all hurry up and take action in this. Well, Donald Trump just met with Al Gore, and we have all these mainstream media leftist outlets touting that Donald Trump is going to veer from his campaign pledges and keep some of these regulations on the basis of man-made climate change.
The bulk of the time was with President-elect Donald Trump. I found it an extremely interesting conversation and to be continued. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you.
Well, I have information that counters that. I just met with a man this weekend named Timothy Ball that spoke at this conference, who is scheduled to meet with Donald Trump's EPA pick. This is very important because this man has evidence that counters the beliefs and opinions of Al Gore. So let's go ahead and hear what he has to say. You're scheduled to meet with Trump's advisor soon, isn't that correct?
Yeah, well, one of the things that about 25 years ago, I appeared before Congress on the climate issue, and I was also invited to speak at a place called the Competitive Enterprise Institute. I met at Myron Ebell, and then at the Heartland or climate conferences around, I met him several times. About a month before the election date, he was notified by the Trump people that he was going to be put in charge of deregulating EPA. So was invited to go and meet with Myron in Washington on the 12th of December. And we'll lay out the issues. He knows a lot of it, but one of the things I think I can contribute is providing him with ways of explaining to the politicians and to the public the complexities. When you burn ethanol, which of course is plant produced, and the government were telling people, when you burn ethanol, there's less CO2 produced than from fossil fuels. It's not true. It's simply not true. When you burn ethanol, you get far more CO2 produced, okay? But what they did was they said, growing the plants takes CO2 out of the atmosphere, so we're giving them a net figure. But with the actual car going down the road, the ethanol car is putting out far more CO2 than the fossil fuel car. And of course, the government shifted the subsidies to corn producers, that they got far more money if they produced the corn and it went to the ethanol plant than if it went to the food plant. That led to a massive increase in basic food costs around the world. And I'll show you how that links. When corn is basic and the price went up, all of the other basic food supplies went up. That led to food riots in Egypt. Okay, Obama said, no, that's Arab Spring, that's democracy. No, it wasn't. There was the food riots.
Wow.
But Obama, of course, said, we've got to get rid of Hosni Mubarak because he wanted to put the Muslim Brotherhood in. So he exploited a situation that his own policies in the corn market had created. But this is the kinds of clever and devious games that they use.
What are some of the health or environmental effects that these supposed green energy projects can do?
Well, the alternate energies, of course, are in terms of the bird kills, the bat kills, the environmental damage, the noise that they produce, the footprint. In order to replace a 1,000 megawatt coal station, you need acres and acres of land because the turbines have got to be spread out because they interfere with each other. If you go by a wind turbine field, there's always one turbine turning. That's being driven by electricity off the grid because you need that energy to get the other wind turbines started, okay? Plus, once you're using wind power as a source of energy into the grid, you can only use about 12% of your total energy production from wind or solar because if it disappears, the system will draw on the grid, and so the grid has to be able to pick up that power demand instantly. So what people don't know is when the wind turbines are turning, the coal plant is also running. So again, this goes back to this problem of doing proper cost-benefit analysis, and that is just missing in every phase of this whole environmental scam, and that needs to be looked at. And particularly if it's a project like a wind project, the government don't want to hear about the problems with it. They suppress all of that, but there are so many side effects. One of the things that's concerned me for a long time is noise pollution in our atmosphere, like I have artificial ears because flying without proper hearing protection, but the noise issue and its ability to excite the cells and trigger all sorts of reactions, it's obvious that there's a problem. The biggest climate events that affect humans and animals are floods and droughts. And droughts in particular, and in the U.S. here, virtually no research done on that, and yet those are huge issues. And water resources, the quality of water. I mean, you saw the Flint, Michigan situation. That's criminal in today's world. But the water issue, it to me is another one that simply has not received attention because of the focus on the global warming issue.
Are you going to advise for him to kind of defund some of these different green energy projects?
You withdraw the funding, the whole thing dies. If there was anything in it, and there was some money to be made in it, then private industry would step in and fill that need right away. But the fact they haven't proves that there is nothing. Trump is is not going to ignore regulations. I mean, he's actually said it. He said, we can't get rid of the EPA completely. We do need to look after our planet. We do need to deal with pollution and so on. But there are so many other issues that are complete non-issues that if we took that money and spend it where it's needed, we could be far more effective. And of course, that's the whole idea about a business person is how do I spend my dollars most effectively? And so that's what I'm hoping to be able to do is say, look, you don't need to spend money here. CO2 is not a problem. And therefore, the money you're spending there, which is about $70 billion a year, can go to some other, for example, clean water supply in every city in America, in every community in America. And this is the problem, that real issues have been pushed aside by these phony issues. I mean, they talk about fake news. This is fake science, but for a political agenda.
The concerns that these media outlets are perpetuating that Donald is going to veer from his campaign pledges are simply inaccurate, and it's just to try and make Donald look bad in any way possible. Just more fake news from the mainstream media. This is Millie Weaver signing off for Infowars.com.
Welcome back. I'm joined in studio by Leanne McAdoo. Here we are, 4th hour live. It's our first time doing this, by the way, together. It's awesome. We brought you a stack of information. We're going to get through this one by one. Hopefully you guys are retweeting us. We actually, some effort today. We posted a photograph of this in hopes that we get retweeted. So be sure and retweet us. What do you think of this?
I think it's amazing. I love Millie out there on the streets. Everybody loves Millie Weaver, so make sure you retweet her report as well. But we've got a lot of news coming up for you. Reddit, of course, is the latest social media outlet out there to shadow ban InfoWars, calling us fake news and other things. So the war on free speech has accelerated. We're going to get into that.
We knew that Steve Hoffman was actually anti-Trump. He took the audacity of this man. Steve Hoffman is the owner and CEO of Reddit, not owner, just CEO. And he was very anti-Trump from the beginning, monitoring streams. We're seeing a war. It's a censorship war in this country like no other. And we're going to take on the real fake news here. Actually,
at least the fascists are revealing themselves.
That's right. What do you make of this Michael Moore piece? This he's predicting Trump will quit before the inauguration because he's bummed out by the amount of work. Get real, dude. You know, I love chubby guys. I have a chubby guy thing. This guy, though, sloppy idiocy to a new level.
Well, he does a documentary like once every few years or something. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is a very successful businessman, however many businesses and they're kind of picking at him because he wants to continue being the executive producer of his television show while also being president. So yeah, I'm sure it's just gonna be too much work for Donald Trump.
Right,
sure.
Well, he's telling this to Seth Meyers, who's sort of the court gesture of Obama's presidency, that Trump, he just thinks that, it's too much work. He's not gonna be, we're talking about a man who I don't think he sleeps.
Okay, he was doing like 6 or 7 campaign stops a day. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton, that was something that really affected her campaign was because she was nowhere to be found after she had that meteoric rise after the DNC. Then she was sleeping in bed. Meanwhile, he's doing 7. Too much work for him, though.
Do you remember Dana Bash asking him about his work ethic? You know, the man had gone through, he stopped to open up a hotel, and she was basically like, how dare you take time out of campaigning? Do you really think that's responsible? What is this saying about you?
This is more fake news that you cannot believe.
He doesn't stop. Speaking of Trump, Trump Tower, we covered this yesterday, Leanne. I love it.
Well, we'll be right back, so stick around.